Hey guys, this is Flip Gordon, and you are listening to Wrestling with Ideas.
Look in the sky, watch it fly, I'm the man ride. I see you try, but you running and you can't, I know. Here we go, time for the man, time for the show. Dive in the stands, climb up the ropes, where will it land? Nobody knows, watch out for that aerosol. Here you go, man, here's your loss.
Welcome back inside the CKDJ studios for Wrestling with Ideas right here on CKDJ 107.9, Ottawa's new music. I'm Zach McGibbon. On the line with me via Skype, you may have seen him in Ring of Honor, putting on exhilarating matches for the promotion. You'll also see him this week for Ring of Honor 16th anniversary show. You may have also seen him taking some harmless ribs from the Bullet Club on Being the Elite. I have with me Travis Flip Gordon. Flip, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. Glad to have you on the show, especially with this week coming up. Your show with Ring of Honor, you're going to be facing off against Hiromu Takahashi. We'll definitely get things started there. But before we get into the main swing of questions, I was going through your Twitter feed yesterday, and I saw your trip to the airport. It looks something straight out of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, I would say. Just describe your day yesterday. What happened with you trying to get over to the airport?
Yeah, I mean, I was just out eating lunch with my girlfriend, and we went to leave. We're on our way to the airport, and some chick runs a red light and hits us. Man, it's crazy. Like, that's not something that you would expect going over to the airport. And I'm assuming you're on location right now for the 16th anniversary show. I am, yeah. I made it to the airport with barely enough time.
It's crazy.
I was stressing, though, because, I mean, I made it on the plane, but I wasn't sure if my luggage made it on the plane because that's how close I caught it. So
that's crazy. I just saw that and it was like, man, you want to talk about a whole bunch of bad luck, especially trying to catch a flight. I couldn't imagine how that would be. But let's get into the main swing of questions. Let's talk about how you broke into the wrestling business. How did you initially break in? Who trained you? What kind of school? That sort of deal.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a fan ever since I was a kid, and man, I love wrestling so much. And so around 2012, I really decided. I was like, I'm just going to stop talking about it. I'm just going to pursue it. So I literally packed up everything I had, and I moved over to Massachusetts and started attending the New England Pro Wrestling Academy with a head trainer, Brian Fury.
And what was like Brian's main focus when it comes to training you? Was it just the basic? Was there more like a technical sort of edge to it? Like, what were the things that Brian taught you while you were in wrestling school?
Everything. I mean, his school teaches everything, but they focus on psychology.
Just psychology. Okay. And that school name also sounds familiar. Was Killer Kowalski involved with that school at some point?
It used to be Killer Kowalski's school.
Ah, that's why. Okay.
And then the Chaotic Training Center took over, and then Brian Fury took over.
Mm-hmm. And so how long were you in that wrestling school before you did your first match?
6 months.
6 months, okay. And what incited you to go to that wrestling school? I was doing some research on it. We saw people like Sasha Banks coming out of that school. But was there other reasons you wanted to go to that school? Did you like the trainer? Did you like the history behind it, that sort of deal?
I liked the history behind it, and I did a lot of research, and I saw the talent that had come from there. And then on top of all that, I was originally born in Massachusetts, and I had family there that I always wanted to meet and get to know. So it was kind of killing two birds with one stone, because I got to meet my family and get to know them while pursuing my dream at the same time.
Oh, definitely. So when did you have your first match? I believe that was for Chaotic Wrestling, right?
No, it was actually it was a student show ran by Biff Busick, also known as Oni Lorcan. And his students were putting on a show, and I was at practice the day before, and Brian Fury was like, "Oh, hey, who's going to this show?" And nobody raised their hands. And he's like, "Flip, you don't have to work tomorrow, right?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "Good, then now you're going to that show." And I had no idea who I was going to be wrestling, but I ended up wrestling Biff Busick. Oh, wow. And it was a pretty surreal first match, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely. Biff being a veteran on the independent scene. Would you say that Biff really helped you during that match, especially that being your first, independent wrestling match?
Oh, 100%. He took care of me. He taught me so much. There's still times where I'll think of something that happened in that match, and I'll take away from it, because that's how good Biff is.
Mm-hmm. And did you start off, obviously, with the name Flip, I would assume, aerial maneuvers were right at the start when you were first getting into the independent scene. Did the styles, were there any moments where you're like, oh, I'm more high flying? Biff Busick, obviously known for being more of a striking sort of guy. Were you worried at first that maybe the styles would clash a little bit, especially you coming into the business and facing off against a guy like that really early?
No, because I love wrestling, and I've seen so many styles clashes over the years. So I actually prefer styles clash. I don't like wrestling other high flyers.
Interesting. Okay.
I'd rather wrestle somebody that's going to work my leg or keep me from trying to fly, so that way I have to come up with new ideas and new ways of flipping and flying.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely.
Make me think outside the box. And
exactly.
You're going to have different kinds of matches.
Yeah, expand your in-ring psychology, essentially.
Exactly.
So how did the independent start out for you? Did that match with Biff Busick kind of lead some more eyeballs to you saying, hey, we got to book this guy onto our show?
Yeah, well, I was already scheduled to debut that 2 days later on Friday, because that was on a Wednesday, and that was for Chaotic Wrestling. And after I had my first couple matches, that's what really just promoters started seeing me locally and was like, hey, do you want this date? Are you available this date? And then from there, I just got addicted. I wanted to wrestle every single weekend, every day of the weekend, no matter how far I had to travel. I would oftentimes sleep in my car if I had to, just to make it to a show because I couldn't afford a hotel or something. Oh. But I was driving all the way to Pennsylvania, Ohio, just for these opportunities, and I was driving alone.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So was it also, I would imagine it's a challenge as well, because you're also part of the National Guard, right?
Yeah, I am.
And that was during the same time where you were starting off your independent wrestling career. Were there moments where that sort of challenge, knowing that maybe you're going to be called in for service by the National Guard, but you still wanted to do the wrestling, that sort of deal?
No, because I had already known my dates for the Army, so I knew which weekends I had to do Army. Mm-hmm. So I was always like, oh man, I'm losing one weekend every month to the Army. So that's when I was like, okay, well, I need 2 to 3 shows every other weekend then to make up for me taking that weekend off.
Makes sense.
And then eventually it got to the point where I didn't want the time off. I was trying to find local shows that I could drive through, and got it approved by the Army that they would release me the night of drill. I'd go to the show and I'd have to come back the same night.
And so when things starting to go well for Flip Gordon, your name's starting to become well known, when did the whole ordeal with Ring of Honor coming to you and saying, hey, we want to have you do a tryout match for us?
Well, they didn't actually come tell me to do a tryout match. I actually paid for a seminar/tryout last January. And I went to the seminar, and they obviously were really impressed by me. And so they approached me afterwards and was like, hey, are you available April? And I was like, yeah, I am. And so I showed up in April, wrestled Matt Sydal. After the match, I actually got a cool chant. They were chanting, please sign Flip. And it was really cool because about 2 months later, we were talking about a contract.
Is it funny to you that your first match on the independent scene was very much an experienced guy in Biff Busick, and your first match for Ring of Honor is another very experienced guy in Matt Sydal?
I don't know if it's coincidence, but it's definitely really cool because it was 2 guys that took care of me and helped me with my career. So,
no, definitely. And one thing I do want to touch upon, there was a report out by the Wrestling Observer saying that Impact Wrestling had also reached out to you on signing a contract with them. Is there any truth to that report that Impact Wrestling reached out and wanted to sign you to a deal?
Yeah, they were actually the first ones to reach out to me.
Interesting. And why did you take Ring of Honor over Impact Wrestling?
I think it was just comfortability because I had already worked for Ring of Honor in Baltimore, that tryout match pretty much with Matt Sydal. And I had so many friends working there. I already had been there, so I knew how they ran. And it was just, in my opinion, it was the better option for me and where I was at the time. And I still think it was the best option.
No, definitely, especially where you've been placed on the card, just kind of moving up in the ranks. Now you're facing Hiromu Takahashi. But when you were signed with Ring of Honor, what idea did you have, what did you think Ring of Honor would book you like? Did you think that they saw you as sort of a mid-card guy, kind of an entertaining act, or did they see, hey, this is a guy that could really, go all the way, be a main event guy?
I wasn't sure how they were going to think of me at first, but I just wanted to come in expecting nothing and just happen to work for everything. Because my whole life I've had to work for everything I have. I don't want anything handed to me. So when I came in, I wasn't expecting a big push. I wasn't expecting anything. I was just hoping for TV time.
No,
and
absolutely.
so they've treated me so well, and they've given me so many opportunities. And the way I look at it is, if I don't succeed here, it's on me. It's only my fault, because they're giving me every opportunity I can.
No, that's definitely a good mentality to have, and they've given you some opportunities as well. You had the chance to go after the 6-man tags. Do you see maybe a TV title opportunity, maybe even a world title opportunity down the line, especially with the way Ring of Honor does television sometimes, where they'll have those defenses on TV?
Oh, yeah, I would love an opportunity at the TV television title and eventually the World Heavyweight Championship as well. But everything takes time. I'm in no rush. I'm still within my first year of Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
So I'm still learning the style. I'm still learning the cameras. I'm still learning how to work everything out. So I'm in no rush. I'm very happy, and I'm learning every single show. So
no, definitely. And obviously, a big benefactor as well with joining Ring of Honor is their partnership they have internationally with promotions like CMLL, New Japan Pro Wrestling. And we've sort of already seen you start to appear at these promotions, with your recent one being at New Japan for the Honor Rising show. Do you think we could see Flip Gordon become more of a regular within New Japan, within the CMLL?
I would love to. I mean, that's my goal. I would love to eventually not be doing indies, just be doing Ring of Honor, New Japan, and CMLL. I love traveling. I love going international, and I love those other new styles. Because CMLL was a new style for me. New Japan was a new style for me. But wrestling those places is just going to make me a better performer in the long run.
Mm-hmm. And did backstage officials ever give you an indicator saying, yeah, we're going to probably bring you back for a couple more shows? Or did they just kind of do that was a very good match, hopefully we'll see you again, that sort of deal?
No, they were very happy with my performances, and they were asking me about my military duty and whether that would restrict me from coming back, or if I wasn't allowed to leave the country for a certain amount of time. So I definitely think they're interested in bringing me back. We just haven't confirmed any dates at this time. So hopefully they'll reach out to me soon, because I'd love to go back.
Yeah, and especially as well, I think a lot of people want to know how your experience was in Japan as well. As part of that Honor Rising, what's it like working in Japan as compared to working in the States in the local indies?
It was awesome. It was so surreal, because it's so big to them. They're very big on respect, and they're so passionate over there. First thing, we get off the bus, we're walking into the hotel. People are already running up to us, asking for an autograph or a picture. Every time you go down the elevator, you leave the hotel or you arrive at the hotel, they're waiting for you, just in hopes of meeting you. So it's really cool, because you can see the passion that they have. Korakuen Hall was so amazing. I couldn't help but just walk out and smile, because you can just feel the energy in that building. And knowing the history and knowing how many legends performed in that building was really cool.
Absolutely. And moving on to Being the Elite, a lot of people recognize you as well for your appearances on Being the Elite and the harmless ribs that were put on you during the show. How did the whole ordeal with Being the Elite come from? Did the Young Bucks just come up to you, say, hey, we'd love to do a skit with you just for Being the Elite, or was it something a little bit more?
That was pretty much what it was. We were down in Mexico for the crash, and they came up to me and they were like, hey, can we bump you in this ring real quick? We're doing a video. And I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, obviously I knew who the Young Bucks were, so I was like, yeah, of course. And I didn't know what Being the Elite was at the time. And so we filmed the whole thing. They had heard that I had signed with Ring of Honor. So we actually announced on Being the Elite that I signed with Ring of Honor before Ring of Honor actually announced it. Because they had caught wave of it. So they included the whole welcome to Ring of Honor, where do you think you're going, all that into that one skit. And from there, they added the Who the F is Flip Gordon by Cody Rhodes. And all of that just kind of took off. And I think the fans just got so behind it, and it caught on so because it was so funny that it just became a reoccurring thing. So, but it's helped me tremendously, because it allows me to get in character and learn from them as well.
No, definitely. And also, I would imagine if you're walking down the street and people recognize you, I would assume somebody would go up and say, "Where do you think you're going?" That sort of deal, just the way the popularity of being the elite is.
Oh, all the time. I remember going to, there was a couple companies in England I went for the very first time, and people came up to me and were doing it. And that was like month 2 or 3 of me being on the show. So it's really cool, the outreach those guys have with being the elite, because it's helped me tremendously get my name out there.
Yeah, definitely. I would assume you didn't really expect that you would become an even bigger star just being a part of that YouTube series, being the elite as well.
No, I had no idea. I mean, obviously at first I thought it was just a one-off, and then they came when I signed with Ring of Honor and I showed up at TV. They wanted to do it again, and now it's just a regular thing. I know when I show up to the show, we're going to film some being the elite, and then they go do their autograph signings. I start getting ready for my match. It's part of a routine now, and it's really cool because it's like another project. It's so much fun, and they have so many good ideas, and the storytelling is unmatched.
No, definitely. And hopefully, too, the way the storyline is going, you'll eventually get booked for the All In show that's taking place in September.
Yeah, that's the goal. I mean, I had an opportunity last weekend against Cody. I fell short. I'm not going to make any excuses, but there was some interference from the outside. But I'll move on. I'll figure out a way. I'll overcome this, and then I'll hopefully be All In.
Yeah, definitely. Well, All In's not booking you, but at least we got you booked here on the Wrestling with Ideas show. Let's talk about Ring of Honor, the 16th anniversary show. You're going to be facing off against Hiromu Takahashi. Boy, that's going to be a really exciting match. When did you first find out you're going to be facing Takahashi, and what do you expect the match to look like, and is the goal really to just kind of steal the show with this match?
I had found out when they told me I was going to Japan, and so I was very excited, and I am very excited for this match. I think it's going to be a very fun match, not only for us, but for the fans, because we have like a little story built on it already with me going over to Japan, and our styles, I think, just mesh very, very well. Definitely.
And a couple more questions here. What does the future look like for Flip Gordon? Do you see yourself in Ring of Honor for the long term? Do you see maybe some titles in the future? A lot of people will probably have asked you at this point, is NXT at all in the plans to maybe go there? What's the future looking like for Flip Gordon at this point?
I'm really happy where I'm at right now. I love the direction that Ring of Honor is going. I love being a part of it. I feel like it's almost like a new generation, and I feel like it's something very special right now. And so I want to be a part of that if they want me to be a part of it. And I'm just having so much fun right now. I'm living a dream. I still have so much to learn. Like, I'm almost 3 years in. It'll be 3 years in May. So I'm still trying to figure everything out. So I'm really happy, and I've been blessed to have the opportunities I've been given. But right now I'm content. I'm happy.
Mm-hmm. And last question here. I'm going to have people essentially throw me to the fire if I don't ask this question. It's not a wrestling related question, and I think you'll know what's coming up next. Is it true that you believe in the flat earth theory?
Yes and no. Flip Gordon believes the earth is flat because he is a Twitter troll. Travis does not, no. But Flip Gordon, Evil Flip, he's got a t-shirt now about the flat earth, and you can go buy that at prowrestlingtees.com/theflipgordon. So if it's going to make me money, I believe in it.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Flip. Thank you so much for the interview, and I'll definitely be watching out for you for the 16th anniversary show. And I'm super excited to see you face off against Takahashi, man. Like, I saw that match when it was announced, and I said, boy, I got to go check out that show.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, definitely. And so I'll let you off, and I wish you the best on the match, and I wish you the best as well in Ring of Honor.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Have a good night.
You as well.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye.